Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today evening news for Thursday, March 1st. I am Mary-Claire Williams. The opposition Barbados Labour Party is calling for the closure of food businesses operating in areas impacted by the South Coast sewage spill. This is the second such call in as many days as residents and businesses continue to raise concern over the impact on health. Opposition leader Mia Motley told a news conference that if her party wins the next election, they would be willing to pay the workers' wages while the problem is being fixed.
Firstly, we have to recognize that it is a crisis and to declare it as a national crisis with those affected areas literally being cordoned off with restricted access only. And by that, what do we mean? That food establishments within those areas need to be closed temporarily. We recognize that in so closing those food establishments, that there will be consequences. And to that extent, the government of Barbados would undertake to pay the wages for all workers from those food establishments in those areas, because we know that people should not have to suffer because the government has failed to take appropriate action with respect to the resolution of a matter that was brought to their attention as far back as almost 2.5 years ago.
Weekly paid workers of the state-run Sanitation Service Authority today called on their bargaining agent, the National Union of Public Workers, to intervene in the issue of non-payment of wages. The NUPW's Acting General Secretary, Delcia Burke, said employees complained to the union that management told them the SSA does not have any money to pay them. Burke told Barbados Today the union is investigating the matter, and the acting general manager of the SSA, Rosalind Knight, could not be reached for comment. Police are seeking the public's assistance in locating missing elderly woman Gloria Mayers of Cleavers Hill, St. Joseph. The 68-year-old was last seen around 5:15 yesterday in Gags Hill, St. Joseph by residents of the area. At the time, she was wearing a colored skirt and orange sleeveless top with a white scarf around her head. Mayers is 5 feet 6 inches tall, slim, with a light brown complexion and curly gray hair. She has brown eyes, thick eyebrows, and walks with a slightly drooping shoulders. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Gloria Mayers is asked to contact the District F Belle Plaine Police Station at 433-1540 or 433-2320. You can also call the police emergency number 211 or the nearest police station.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. A police officer in Trinidad has been jailed for 2 years on corruption charges. Justice Gillian Lucky sentenced Anthony Wilson to jail after he confessed to soliciting bribes from a woman to forego pressing charges relating to an accident in 2004. She told the accused that he had let down the police service and his country. Guyana's audit office is raising concern over the overpayments to contractors. We get the details in this report from HGP Nightly News.
It's also been disclosed that the agencies that have been overpaying contractors do not maintain an adequate presence on the ground to see firsthand the works being done by contractors. As explained by the audit office engineer Mr. Victor Lal, contractors frequently overestimate some of the services or purchases. In other instances, services and items are paid for, but they are never received.
Like some contracts would ask for a particular component to be installed. They would pay for it, and 6 months, 8 months when we do the audit, it's still not installed as yet. Also, they might pay for bonds and insurances that the contractors never provide, which is another issue too that we also highlight. But it comes down to measurement of the final works. Mostly that is where we have the problem. Apparently they don't do their final valuation by going on the ground and actually physically verifying what was done. And of course there are instances where they don't deduct liquidated damages. Sometimes, as AG mentioned, they cut and hold checks at the end of the year and the works are still incomplete. So when they go and do the measurement, they find that the value of the work is actually less than the check that they have on hand.
Because the problem of overpayment persists, the Audit Office is recommending that the agencies and ministries pay for works on the ground, among other recommendations, and that they comply with the Procurement Act while building capacity of their staff.
On the international scene, the U.S. is set to impose steep tariffs on steel and aluminum products next week. The move is expected to hit producers like China and Canada. President Donald Trump says products face a 25% tariffs on steel with 10% on aluminum goods. The U.S. imports 4 times more steel than it exports and relies on steel from more than 100 nations.
The fact is we weren't treated and we haven't been treated fairly by other countries. But I don't blame the other countries. When I was in China, I said, listen, President Xi, I have a lot of respect for President Xi. I said, I don't blame you. If you're able to get away with making almost $500 billion a year off of our country, how could I blame you? Somebody agreed to these deals. And those people should be ashamed of themselves, what they've let happen. So we're bringing it back, and we're going to bring it back relatively rapidly, and we're going to be instituting tariffs. Next week we'll be signing. Perhaps some of you folks will be here.
And finally, fresh heavy snowfall in Europe has caused several transport delays, and it is expected to continue in the coming days. The blizzard has forced the cancellation of flights at Dublin Airport today and the temporary closure of Geneva Airport in Switzerland. Large parts of the continent are in the grip of a Siberian weather system that has brought the coldest temperatures for several years. And that's news. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good evening.